All right, now, shoot, I never thought I'd be doing a Katt Williams video. I think the last time I did a Katt Williams related video was after his Netflix special dropped earlier this year. And I believe, and let me see if I can get the channel name here. It was on V103's Frank and Wanda in the Morning. Katt Williams is on there. I actually saw the interview on YouTube. The last 5 minutes of that interview where Katt went at it with Wanda, I've watched that, and I'm not exaggerating, about 17 times. I mean, at the 16-minute, I'm going to put a link to the interview in the description, but at the 16-minute mark, click on that and then just watch all the way through. It's like from the 16-minute mark to the very end at like 20 minutes 48 seconds. But I was laughing my behind off. It was hilarious. Like they're going back and forth about, you know, cooking and stuff like that. And then Wanda tries to take a jab at Katt's hair and his clothes. But I don't want to get into the full details, but I was rolling. I'm like, this is the Katt Williams that I remember growing up. But in any case, yeah, he had some words in regards to, you know, like Tiffany Haddish and Kevin Hart, but mainly Tiffany Haddish, because, you know, that's what's been trending. Like, to be honest, I didn't think the interview would be trending like that. When I saw it, you know, on Friday morning, you know, I just figured, oh man, he just won an Emmy. That's great. I haven't watched the movie he won the Emmy for, but I'll definitely see if I can find it somewhere and watch it. But yeah, he was talking about, I believe Wanda brought up, you know, I think the question was, you know, what does it take to make a great comedy special? You know, Katt was going over his and I don't want to pull a Monique here, but he went over his resume and, you know, the stuff that he's hit in terms of milestones, like numbers, and what does it take to make a great comedy special and things like that. And I believe that Wanda was talking about some of the, you know, current comics and bringing up a movie like Girls Trip, and that's when, you know, Tiffany Haddish came to the discussion, and, you know, Katt didn't hold his tongue. You know, he said it was out of love, but at the same, like, hey, there's no bad blood or anything like that. But, you know, at the same time, you know, he was spitting, you know, some truth, and I mean his truth. You know, you can agree or disagree, but basically it's like, you know, what's your favorite Tiffany Haddish joke? You can't recite one because she hasn't been on the comedy. She hasn't proven that she could tell jokes. How many? Everybody has a get old ratchet friend. Like, when did that become marketable? I know I can't do a good Katt Williams, but that's the best I can. I mean, plus it's 6 a.m. in the morning, so, you know, my voice isn't at 100%. It's like, I mean, let me just put it this way. It's like, you know, Katt Williams was talking about how, you know, there are plenty of, you know, black female comedians he had on his tour. And it's like Tiffany Haddish kind of jumped over like 40 plus female comedians, and, you know, Hollywood is like pumping her as being, you know, the next big thing. And I did a video earlier this year about, you know, do you think Tiffany Haddish is funny? I'm not trying to sound like a hater or anything. I just personally don't feel like, you know, she's my type of comedy. I mean, in her cameos in different TV shows and whatnot, like, I loved it, but I don't think that I've, you know, watched an entire film where she was like a main star, and I was able to, you know, go all the way through. I actually did watch Girls Trip, and it was a good film. And Katt Williams talking about school dances, like, you know, the scene where I'm in jail and Tiffany Haddish is there with the baby by the white guard. That clip itself has gotten more views than the movie, and that is absolutely true. Like, if you go on YouTube or even on Facebook where they post a clip of a, you know, a video or whatever, and it shows you the views, like, it's up in the millions, like, because that scene was literally like the best part of the movie. And it's like, I mean, literally, that's accurate. That is completely accurate. The thing about Tiffany Haddish, though, I like, is the fact that several months ago when I did that video about do you think Tiffany Haddish is funny, and I looked up, you know, like IMDb and Wikipedia, I'm like, oh snap, I've actually seen her in plenty of things. I just never realized it. Like, oh, she was in Tyler Perry's If Loving You Is Wrong. She was in an episode of That's So Raven. She was in School Dance, and then the list goes on. She was in a lot of stuff I didn't realize she was in. And don't get me wrong in any way, any stretch of the imagination. Like, I'm not down in her or anything like that, because she's been in the game for a while, you know, I think like 16 plus years. So, you know, everything that's come to her, you know, blessings and whatnot. But I'm just talking about my personal opinion of the comedy. That's all I'm talking about. So, I mean, like, Tyler Perry's Nobody's Fool. She's going to be a main character in that with Tinka Sumter. I believe Night School is coming out pretty soon, the one she has with Kevin Hart. And I mean, I'm going to watch it. Don't get me wrong. I am going to see it. It's one of those movies where it's kind of like a ridiculous, corny kind of humor, but I feel like I feel like I'm going to enjoy it, believe it or not. Like, I'm not going to go in there with a critical eye or anything. I will do a video review on the channel, but I'm not going in there with high expectations. If I get a few good laughs, then that's good enough for me. But yeah, I mean, like, I think now on Twitter, you know, it's kind of a back and forth. You know, some people like Katt disrespectful, other people like, you know, he's right. But I will admit, like I said before, during the last like 4 or 5 minutes of this interview, where it's like raw Katt Williams going back and forth with Wanda, and it isn't anything like vulgar or anything, I laughed so much. I laughed during those few minutes way more than I ever did during a Kevin Hart movie, or Kevin Hart during his last special, the What Now or whatever the last tour was, because this was Katt Williams, like, you know, not the fighting the 12 or 13-year-old boy or getting arrested for drugs. This is like Katt Williams from Wild 'N Out, like the Katt Williams that I grew up with. But I mean, again, not knocking Tiffany Haddish, but I can definitely, I mean, some people might chalk it up to jealousy and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, I don't really see it that way. I mean, let me just put it this way. Due to the fact that Katt Williams is in the comedy world and I'm not, so definitely he has a perspective. It's almost like, you know, you working on the job and you seen and helped out like 30 plus people, you know, with the job itself. Then a newbie comes in who's pretty much started at the bottom, no Drake pun intended, but then all of a sudden they hopscotch over those 30 plus people you seen grinding and are actually proving themselves, and then this, you know, person just all of a sudden gets the promotion while everybody else is stuck where they are. I could see why you would feel some kind of way about that. And again, I mean, I do feel like, and I feel like a lot of people do feel the same way. It seems like Tiffany Haddish kind of came out of nowhere. Like, once again, she's been in the comedic and working in television for a while, but it does seem like she did seem to come out of nowhere. Like the comedy special, like Kevin Hart, you know, I'm a Grown Little Man. I believe he did a couple shows like The Laugh Factory and whatnot. But in terms of like that one comedy special that made you go, oh, okay, Kevin Hart, I'm a Grown Little Man. One of the most is like, pew, pew, everybody gonna die. You want to go night night, nigga? Or the rich white guy laugh, ah! You know, things like that. But then, you know, he eventually, and I think this probably happened before or after, but you had Soul Plane, but that one comedy special was what really put you on the map. I think like Eddie Griffin said the same thing. Like, I think Martin Lawrence told him, is like, yeah, man, it's like, yeah, Martin, I got this HBO special. I'm like, no. You need to go on Def Jam, do a 5-minute set. That way people will know you. Then your HBO special will blow up, and usually that leads to like a TV show or a movie deal or whatnot. Eddie Griffin took his advice, and then of course we got the famous Michael Jackson, you know, on drugs routine, and that's how Eddie Griffin blew up. But with Tiffany Haddish, you know, we haven't had that. But I do know she has a deal with Netflix and whatnot. But yeah, I feel like, you know, I'm not saying that it has to be done in a certain order, but I do agree that Tiffany Haddish, I think that a comedy special is definitely needed. I do believe, you know, with the Netflix deal, I think that comes with a comedy special. I think she's doing a voice in like an animated series. But if there's a comedy special, I'm definitely going to watch. Trust and believe that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that Katt Williams was too hard on Tiffany Haddish? Do you agree with what he was saying? I believe the interview, I think around maybe the 6 or 7 minute mark is where he talks about that stuff. But I would definitely suggest sitting down and watching the entire thing. But let me know in the comments if you rewind, like, or you go back to like the last 5 minutes back over and over again, where he's going back and forth with Wanda, because she was trying to get the last word in, but none of her jokes were sticking. Katt was just, he was ready. He was in prime form. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the interview. What do you think about Tiffany Haddish? What do you think about Katt Williams? And yeah, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll talk to you all soon.